Hello friends, with this video I am starting the series on ovarian tumors. So when we talk about ovarian tumors, the students are confused as there are various names of tumors in that. They are classified as different classes and the management of the tumors. Are they bilateral, unilateral? What kind of the tumor, from which cells the tumor arises, whether we should treat or not, whether it is a tumor or a cyst. This kind of confusion is going on. So I am trying in this video to smooth that confusion so that you can actually learn what you should do. Out of coming those confusion, you can learn what you should actually learn. You know what you are learning or reading. This is what important. So basically there are three types of tumor in ovarian tumors. The first is a functional cyst, then comes the benign tumors, and then comes the malignant tumors. So the functional cyst, as the name suggests, that the function of the ovary is what? The ovary here in reproductive age group, the one follicle becomes larger and becomes a dominant follicle, and then it ruptures and becomes corpus luteum. So every month this process is going on. There are many follicles which are recruited at the start of menstruation cycle, but only one becomes a dominant follicle. And when we say a follicle is a dominant follicle, because it is obviously the largest of the all follicles, but at least a mature dominant follicle is around 18 to 22 mm. So, and corpus luteum is also a kind of follicle, but a ruptured follicle. So what I am trying to make you understand is this kind of cyst are developed due to mismanagement of the routine pathway. For example, routinely they only develop up to 22 mm or let's say 25 mm. Then they rupture and the corpus luteum is there, and corpus luteum will regress within 11 to 12 days. So it will subside by itself. So is a diversion, some amount of diversion from the normal function of the ovary, that can be called as a functional cyst. Then comes the solid tumors. These tumors are various kind of tumors, but what is very important in ovary is that same tumor, a same benign tumor can be converted into malignant tumor. So as per there is no such a classification that yes, these tumors are benign and these tumors are malignant, because every benign tumor has a potential of becoming the malignant tumor. So we don't classify the solid tumors into just benign and malignant, because we need to classify these tumors, both tumors, on the origin of the cell from which they originate. So this classification will come after this thing. Now let's understand the functional cysts here. Cyst formation is due to improper functions. For example, I have already told you a DF, that is dominant follicle, should be there at around 18 to 22 mm, and then it ruptures. But sometimes the follicle does not rupture and keep becoming increasing size. Okay. So if this follicle crosses the 3 centimeter size, that is 30 mm size, then we call it as a simple cyst, because it is not going to rupture when it should be ruptured. Okay. If this simple cyst, some part of this cyst is ruptured and bleeding occurs in this cyst, it becomes a hemorrhagic cyst here. If simple cyst ruptures, it becomes a hemorrhagic cyst. If normal dominant follicle ruptures, it becomes corpus luteum. If simple cyst ruptures, it becomes hemorrhagic cyst. As simple as that. Sometimes corpus luteum, once it is formed, also gets high amount of bleeding inside this, and this corpus luteum can also become a hemorrhagic cyst. So when we hear that there is a hemorrhagic cyst, that means from some amount of it is ruptured first of all, and there is a blood inside the cyst. So it can be because of the simple cyst rupture, or it can be because of the corpus luteum enlargement. So these three things are very common in day-to-day clinical practice. They regress themselves. We don't need to provide the treatment. But when the size is more than 7 centimeter, generally we don't need to remove those cysts. They regress itself. But what important here is not the treatment. The important here is monitoring the cyst and assess the malignant potential of that cyst. What we need to do here, what we need to understand and evaluate here is a malignant potential of those cysts. Generally benign cyst, simple cyst, hemorrhagic cyst are very benign. They don't have malignant potential at all. But still, on doing ultrasound, we need to actually measure the score, okay, and do a monitoring whether the cyst itself regresses or not. And for that thing, one index is that is called risk of malignancy index. What is that? There are some features of malignancy. When you do an ultrasound of a cyst, of a mass in ovary, there are some features which suggest that it can be malignant. What are these features? If the mass seen bilaterally, if we found solid components in the cystic mass, for example, this is a cyst, we found a solid components here. Then we found loculas of more than 3 mm size. If we found ascites, if we found surface irregularity and papillary surfaces, this is the papillary surface you see here, this is the papillary surface. So this kind of features are suggestive of increased risk of malignancy. So what is RMI? If the RMI score is more than 200, then we need to take that mass very seriously, and we need to refer this patient to the gynecological oncologist, who will again evaluate those mass. Now how we measure the RMI? RMI can be measured, it's very simple. M, that is menopausal index, U, that is ultrasound index, and CA 125 levels. We need to do multiply. Now M score is very simple. If the patient is premenopausal, the score given is 1. If the patient is postmenopausal, the score given is 3. U means ultrasound score. In ultrasound score, we have two values, that is 1 and 3, only two values. Either it can be 1 or it can be 3. What we see in ultrasound, the same features of malignancy, that the margins are irregular, there are solid components in that, multiloculated is seen, high Doppler flow in solid components, and ascites. These are the 5 basic features of malignancy. So if we found 0 or 1 feature, we give the ultrasound score 1. If we found more than 1 feature, we give the ultrasound score 3. Okay, and then we do what? Only 1 component, more than 2 components. Then we do is a CA 125 levels, and then the risk of malignancy index is measured. If it is more than 200, we need to further evaluate those masses with CT, MRI and even surgery. So if it is less than 200, when we don't need to do a panic, and it's okay and fine. Now, if the ovarian mass you find, and if you find it is a benign, there are no features of malignancy or very less features of malignancy, then you don't need to do a CA-125. For example, if you find a cyst and there is no malignant features, then you don't need to do a CA-125. Those cysts will regress itself. But again, size matters. If the size of the cyst is less than 7 cm, it will regress itself. Only you need to do is observation, serial ultrasound scanning, and if the cyst does not regress, we need to give a 3-month treatment of OC This will regularize the hormonal balance. If it is more than 7 cm, then we are on the line of surgical removal of that cyst, because it takes time to become or regress. Okay, now if the patient comes post-menopausal to you, then you know that now the function of ovary is not there, and still you find a cyst. That means there is something problem. So you go for a CA-125 levels. If it is more than 35, you need to remove that mass, whatever it is. Now, if the ovarian mass is seen before puberty, again you know that it cannot be due to function, because before puberty the ovarian function is not there. So you need to again evaluate for the germ cell tumors, and for that thing you need to measure the HCG value. Now let's talk about the tumors. Those benign and malignant tumors are basically originated from the 3 types of cells. If you even see the ovary, there is a cortex, there is a medulla, which is very less developed. Cortex is the only developed thing in ovary, and in the cortex you find various follicles. In the follicles you see there is a ovum, and around the ovum you will find all this theca cell, granulosa cells, Sertoli cells, leading cell, whatever you want to find, you can find around the ovum. Now if the tumor arises from these general epithelial cells, then we call it a epithelial cell tumor. It is very common. 90% of the ovarian tumor are of epithelial cell tumor. If the tumor arises from the germ cells, that is ovum, this is oocytes, primary, secondary oocytes, then we can have a germ cell tumor. It is common in young girls, but only 7% of the ovarian tumor are generally as a germ cell tumor. And the third thing comes the sex cord tumor. Sex cord tumor, that is around cells like theca cells, granulosa cells, Sertoli cell, leading cell. From this cell, if tumor arises, it's called sex cord tumor, and it's very rare, 3% only. Again, I already told you there is no such thing that yes, this tumor is a benign and this is a malignant. Every tumor in the ovarian mass has a malignant potential, and they can go for malignancy. What we do in our next video, we will just do a one generalization video about the ovarian tumors, and then in the next videos we will discuss particular one tumors. So for this thing right now, thank you.